Joy Graffin,
Here.
Ted Bratney,
Here.
Tom Jensen,
Here.
Sheila Palinkas.
Here.
And do you want to give us verification of the Board of Review notice?
The Board of Review notice was properly noticed.
Take nominations for chairperson for the Board of Review.
I'll nominate Ted Bratney.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Verify that at least one member of the Board of Review has met the mandatory training. Yes.
Yes, I filed affidavits for 4 board
Okay.
members for Board of Review training.
Okay, Board of Review will meet for the purpose today of calling the Board of Review into session. We're required to do this during the 45-day period that began on the 4th Monday of April, which was pursuant to Section 70-47, Section 1 of the Wisconsin State Statutes. The Board of Review will be adjourned because the roll is not ready due to the reevaluation of the entire town. We anticipate that the roll will be available and that we will convene a Board of Review sometime in August. And open book will be some other time before that. Okay, Mr. Ponder, what is the date that we're anticipating the book to be complete?
Okay. I am proposing Board of Review August 30th, 31st, and September 1st.
Which would be, then would leave open book?
That would be, I'm proposing open book to be July 26th, 27th, 28th, and Saturday the 29th.
Okay.
26 to 29.
Yes. And the times on your Board of Review is up to you.
Right.
And the first day, August 30th, is my recommendation. After that, you can have continuations.
Okay.
And you can change the hours as to what you need at that time on a
Okay.
continuation. I'm proposing open books from 9 to noon and 1 to 4. I'm going to use the scheduling, the
Software.
online scheduling, 15-minute intervals.
Okay.
And I would also propose in July, is your town board meeting on the 18th,
That's
Yes.
the third Tuesday.
Tuesday?
The third Tuesday.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
18th would be.
I would propose at 5 o'clock on the 18th, I will have an hour informational meeting for the general public.
Okay. And we don't need to be there?
You would not need to be
That's
there.
good, because I will not be in country.
Okay.
So,
And that would just be to answer general questions. By then,
okay.
the notices will be sent, but it would still be just, I'm not going to be specific on any properties, but I would be
Well, we,
available to answer general questions about the increase. And,
right,
I know everybody's concerned about what happens to the property taxes.
right.
And I can at least present what impact the revaluation numbers would have on a mill rate using last year's budget or total levy that the town collected.
The biggest
So-
issue is going to be the school district for those people in Cambridge school,
Right,
because they had their referendum. So,
right. So, and that's, in every taxing entity, their budget changes annually.
okay. That's good. We will get these dates put together, and we will then do a mailing of this whole process out via either a postcard or a card or piece, or saw a neat thing from Rooftop Larry, whatever.
Ridgetop.
Ridgetop, yeah. He did a whole page. I'm wondering if I can do that and if it's any more expensive or cheaper. Because we could use with all these dates to have a little bit more space, but we'll see.
I have been in contact with Department of Revenue. I'm working with them on some of the parameters involved.
Okay.
And I would like to get some input as to when we put the scheduler out for the remaining inspections, how to get people to sign up for the earlier dates of the viewing times, because we've been running into, the first days or even week of inspection opportunities, that there's crickets out there. And then as we get near the deadlines, it's completely filled and people are calling saying, I can't schedule anything because they waited too long. And then so I've got to extend, eats into my time and all my other stuff that's required.
Yeah.
I don't want to cut them out. I just want them to schedule when the times are available.
Okay.
So if anybody has any suggestions on how to communicate that.
Maybe have your times in this, the same frame, and say your last time is here, and then you'll have,
Then I can
then
extend
you'll have
where I
another
would've-
week to say, I've already got it, because you've already built that into your schedule.
Possibly.
Just a thought.
That was Diane's thought.
So you kind of
Yeah,
tell them you don't have as much time, and then the overflow you can push later.
Okay. Good. All right.
One point I want to make for the general public is you're probably looking at a 40 to 46% increase based on the 2021 and 2022 sales.
40 to 46%.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yes,
40 to 46%.
increase. Yes.
In the
In
valuation
in
of the home.
Assessed values, based on the sales.
That's not your taxes.
No.
Correct, that's nothing to do with tax,
Yeah.
it's just
Right.
valuation. That's based on the sales that the Department of Revenue is saying they are valid, arm's length sales, represent true market activity.
Okay. Good. Anything else, John? Okay. As we were, as we were saying, since the book will not be complete until these dates, the Board of Review will meet at those time, and so we will now seek to adjourn, and we have a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Board of Review is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Founder. Okay, we will call the regular town board meeting to order at
7:08.
7:08. Verification of notice.
The meeting was properly noticed.
Okay. And were we not going to do the
Yeah, I
Pledge
was
of
just gonna
Allegiance
say.
tonight?
Sorry.
I pledge
allegiance
to
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And any public comment on anything which is not on the agenda for this evening?
Hello, my name is Tom Frederick. I am the First Assistant Chief of the Cambridge Volunteer Fire Department. Over the past 6 months, there have been a variety of complaints made within the community and at various meetings, including meetings of the Cambridge Fire and EMS Commission, designed to portray the fire department as being dysfunctional, corrupt, or broken. Nothing could be further from the truth. We have been described as having poor morale and a toxic environment within the fire department. Despite coming from a variety of backgrounds, our membership joins together to form a strong team. This is evident in the meetings we have for training, equipment maintenance, and conducting business, as well as during calls and other activities. We welcome any of you to come and visit our meetings and observe our interactions and judge for yourselves. We have procedures for dealing with problems, but they are seldom used due to the fact that we get along very well with one another. Our members receive appropriate training through classes at Madison College promptly after being admitted to our department. They also receive extensive training at our regular practice meetings. Any accusations disputing this are wrong, and we can easily provide documentation to support this assertion. There have sometimes been judgments made of our performance on incidents. We are only human and far from being above evaluation. The story circulating about a recent fire, however, requires some clarification. On April 4th, shortly before midnight, we responded to a fire on Highway 12 in the town of Oakland. We have heard that it has been stipulated if EMS had responded with our brush truck, they could have put out a small porch fire, which subsequently spread to the whole house because it took the fire department so long to get there. The reality of the situation, detailed in a report from the Dane County, is detailed in a report from the Dane County Communications Center. The fire had already spread to both floors when the original caller or passerby saw it and reported it. The first responding unit to arrive was not EMS, but Cambridge Fire Chief Joe Evans by a full minute. The house was fully involved on arrival. EMS had a resident with smoke inhalation to attend to, as should be their priority. Cambridge Engine 1 arrived in a very reasonable time frame, ready to make an effective fire attack. No reasonable attack is ever made on a structure fire with equipment carried on a brush truck. It has been said that we can't get along with EMS. This is also not true. We work well with each other on numerous types of incidents. Often it involves us helping them with CPR, patient movement, or driving them to the hospital due to their limited staffing. We are happy to provide assistance. They assist us at fires in case we get hurt and with rehab. We work together to remove patients from parks, woods, lakes, and vehicle accidents. The perceived problems between our departments derive almost entirely from their director and how he has chosen to handle relations with us. Last year, he requested that EMS medics be allowed to perform firefighting duties. Our response was that they are welcome to join our department, learn our SOGs, equipment, command structure, and respond on our apparatus when staffing allows. Firefighter training and state and national standards all dictate that freelancing and operating outside of SOGs and the command structure is dangerous and must be avoided. If he had wanted to find common ground, and if he truly understood these very basic firefighting principles, he could have worked toward this. Our chief at the time, Terry Johnson, is among the most reasonable individuals I have ever met. He is easy to talk to and always puts what's best for the community first. Instead, communication from the EMS director ceased. No effort to compromise was made, no effort to move forward. Instead, we were told by Commission President Mark Cook that the two of them speak daily, which has apparently not been directed towards improving our relations. More recently, Commission President Cook has been making a concerted effort to install this individual over the fire department. He is spending thousands of taxpayer dollars on attorney Steve Zak to articulate criticisms of the fire department as justification for this move. Criticisms that are far from true. They say that this individual is a police officer, medic and firefighter, jack of all trades. Well, the fire department does not need a master of none to lead us. We are doing just fine with the competent, well-prepared leadership we have. Please ask us about critical information that you are being presented. We would appreciate the opportunity to set the record straight. Thank you. I am generally available to answer questions. I'll be here after the meeting. I'd be happy to answer questions to the group or individually. And my contact information I can provide if people would prefer to contact me at some other time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Thanks.
Take approval of the meeting minutes from our April 18th regular board meeting.
Make a motion to approve the meetings as written. Meeting minutes, sorry.
Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then we have the meeting minutes from the April 25th town board meeting, which was the opening of bids for road work and some other things. So Need a motion to approve those minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the April 25th meeting.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion's carried. Police Chief, Gary.
Good evening.
Aye.
Only update I have tonight is on our boat patrol. This weekend, the boat and jet ski will be coming out of storage. It will go to the marina. I think at the last meeting, I filled you in on a potential person I was going to hire from retired officer from Milwaukee. He completed his waiver to Wisconsin Training and Standards. They approved it, so he's good to go. Today I got his results back because you have to go through a drug screening. Everything was negative. So I know we usually like to have them come and, be met by all of you, but I'm hoping to get your blessing tonight so that he can start right away this weekend. I didn't have a chance to get him on the agenda for tonight, and he lives in Milwaukee, so it's quite the trip. So it's James Janikowski, retired in 2017 from the Milwaukee Police Department. After retiring, about 2 years later, he came back, came to the town of East Troy Police Department, and then worked their boat patrol for like a year or so. So he has some boating experience. Left East Troy last year, boating season, and now he's looking at getting back with us. So I asked him, I said, "You sure you want to drive all the way from Milwaukee to here?" But he said he has a motorcycle, he likes riding, and he goes, not that bad on gas, so. So he's very interested.
Okay.
Do we want to move ahead with a motion to authorize Gary to hire James Janikowski for boat patrol? And then we'll hopefully get to meet him some other time.
Yeah.
So moved.
Can we move?
I'll second.
Give me a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All the updates I have.
Okay.
No squad. You give up. Not even calling
What?
anymore.
Saw a new sheriff's one the other day.
Yeah.
It really looked nice.
Rub it in.
You'll have him stop at the
Yep.
clerk's office?
I'm gonna try to get him in this week, so.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good. Thanks, Terry. Appreciate it. Public Works Supervisor, they've been busy moving trees and stuff and chipped wood out to Warm Belly Farms and stuff, and we're trying to catch up with the companies that have been dumping and letting them know. So try and control that a little bit better. Otherwise, I'm not aware of anything else that Jeff. Okay. Clerk Treasurer's report.
We are working on licensing right now, mobile home park licensing and liquor license and operator's license. Those forms are due to the clerk's office by the 26th of May, so then they will be ready for approval at the June meeting. And then we're also working on financial reports. I'm hoping to have a financial report to the board in June.
Any questions for Susan? Anything?
No.
Okay, good, thank you. Discussion and possible action on a variance to reduce the road setbacks for proposed home. The site is along Majestic Circle on parts, so 022-0613-1811-046. And that is owned by Mitchell and Robin Gardner. You guys, you know the routine, come on up.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to tell us what you guys are doing? There is information in your packet relative to this.
Yeah, should be information and a drawing showing where we would cross the setbacks. The issue is the HOA requirement for 1,600 square feet on the first level of the home. And with the curvature of the road, the angle on the plot plan I think you have shows how it kind of curves into the lot a little bit, so the setbacks are squeezing us a little bit there. And part of the roof overhang, in order to get 1,600 square feet, is slightly crossing the setback line at 30 feet. So I think the max was 2 feet 4 inches in one spot, if I remember right. I think, I don't know if you guys have the map showing the shaded areas where it crosses the setback.
Looks like in those two little corner spots, right?
Yeah, the corner spots there on that arc. And then the north side was, I believe, 12 inches over on the north side roof overhang. So the only way he could fit the drafter could fit it on the lot was to let the roof overhang go slightly past. And he shrunk it down from 18-inch roof overhangs to 12-inch overhangs to try and make sure we weren't too far across. But
Any questions? Plan committee felt this was reasonable to allow and really didn't have a lot of other choices, so they would recommend approval.
I'll make a motion to approve
Okay, Jimmy?
the setbacks proposed at the said parcel.
I'll second it.
Tom, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. We'll send the paperwork off
okay.
first thing tomorrow morning to the county, so you should be good to go. You'll hear next from them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Didn't I send that one?
This is Mitch.
Yeah, we have a letter from the HOA as well.
Yeah, we saw
And it was
that.
in the packet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, we have another item from the Plan Committee, and it is a request by Mary Koopa for a conditional use to allow 4 dogs as household pets in a residential zone at N4412 Wolf Road on parcel 022-0613-0812-037. This is a situation where she moved in about 8 months ago with 3 dogs, and then bought a 4th one in February, and then when she came to register her dogs, found out that our ordinance only allows 2. And this has happened to us before, and so what we do is we ask the person to apply for a conditional use permit, and then the conditional use permit is granted for only as long as the existing 4 dogs remain in the household alive or, given away. If one passes away, she's not allowed to replace it. She has to get down to 2 dogs. And then when the 2 dogs limit is reached, the conditional use permit goes into the sunset. So it's a 2-minute thing, so we just said, we'll take care of it. And
What
we've
kind of
approved
dogs were they? It didn't say.
4 labs, which I
Really?
was really surprised, but and this is the one with the pool right next door to the sanitary pump station.
Mm-hmm.
And she wants to get rid of the pool. I offered. And she said, well, maybe, but anyway. So we would need a motion to approve the CUP for this.
We haven't had any complaints about.
No, in
any-
fact, normally we would do signatures by all the neighbors. It's all vacant land except for
Oh.
one behind her.
Okay.
So,
Oh, it's conditional use, so if there's any problems, we could certainly could.
yeah. And she's put up kind of, I don't know whether it's fabric or what, along the
Right,
fence.
I
So
saw
that the
that.
dogs don't see others going by, so they
Oh,
won't bark
okay.
and stuff.
It's the barking that we may hear about.
Yeah, she's really, she did everything she can to minimize it, so. Again, we recommend approval from the planning committee. So I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second.
Second, moved and seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We'll send that on to the county. Okay, you have on your, in your packet, a review of the preliminary plat of the Oak Hill subdivision. Where this is, and let me just give you a little background on the process. This is the very preliminary layout of the proposed subdivision up here at 18 and A. It has been given to the Plan Committee for their review and their input. Then I also asked Leanna if the Lake Management District had some ideas and thoughts on that. And between the 2 of them, we have 8 different issues identified of concern and question. Things like Plan Committee, what's all the open spaces planned to be, and what type of development will go in there. They had a concern on the Highway A for turnouts, bypass lanes. Question on what will be done or used on the lots marked as wastewater. And then some questions about noise abatement plans along Highway 18. Leanna picked up on much more of the, has a wetland delineation been completed for the property? If not, recommends one be done. There are homes that look that they are looking like they're going to be in wetlands, and what are the setbacks appropriate for that? More on the storm water maintenance facility. Is this the best place for it? What's the plan to get water to drain into the facility? And has the developer gone through the permitting process with DNR? A couple other items were on other people's lists. I did have a discussion with John and did raise two issues to him. Access to the parkland area where it's going to take place, there had been some discussion and it wasn't shown. And then he needs to get our updated copy of our road standards ordinance, and I'll make sure that goes in his packet, because we've updated that, and that may affect cul-de-sac size. We went, if you guys remember, we did this thing about year and a half ago, and we increased dramatically the size of cul-de-sacs because of the dark garbage trucks. So we gotta make sure that is.
Didn't we also say something about the subdivision has to maintain their own cul-de-sacs now? Wasn't that something we looked at?
I don't remember.
I don't remember that, but it would be in the, that might have made it into the subdivider agreement, and that's, so. So where we're at tonight is we take comments from the town board. We will then prepare all of this and send this to the county and to John Didion and to his engineer. We're required to do this within 90 days if we have any of these questions or concerns and get them to them. They will then take them and revise, update, answer. We will then get that back as a quote unquote, and I use this facetiously, final preliminary plan, which we then will have more review on. We'll go through that, and we'll also, at that point, it would be appropriate to open it to public comment, because we'll now have some answers, and and right now you're looking at a lot of blank space if you look at that. There is one thing that is, and I just wanted to point it out. If you go to the map that looks like this, you'll see, if you look down at the very bottom, there's what looks like a street going to the south. Department of Transportation required that space be left for a right-of-way to the south. We argued against that because we know that Kevin's not going to want to sell, and that shouldn't happen. So they insisted, but the good thing is this does not have to be made into a street. It can be left as unimproved land.
But it's going to be a right-of-way?
Yes, but not paved and stuff. When we had a phone conference with Department of Transportation, we said, that's a ridiculous thing for us. And so, anyway. So, now the question is, do any of you have other comments or questions other than the kinds of things that we have covered? Because we do need to get this off this week so that we can fall well within our 90 days.
So there is park space here then?
There is park space. If you go back to the photo or the layout that looks like this.
We should have put it together in one like this.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, these came as 8.5 by 11. You have the blown-up version.
I'm just making my own.
If you follow along, this is all basically the delineation for wetlands, is what we understand. There's a lot here that has, it's something. There's one of these that is a water storage thing, or anyway, it's one of these corners. The parkland is actually this area back in here. because it's outside of the wetlands and it would work. The problem is that there has to be an access point, and it's got to be one of these two where people can get to it and walk back to the parkway. Now, that's what has, and I will say this again kind of tentatively, that's what has been discussed as being their donated land. They could come back with something else, but as we've discussed in previous meetings with them, that's what they've been thinking about. So,
What about the land on the northeast corner? Isn't that vacant? I mean, on the northeast corner?
yes, that's one of the open spaces that we're wondering what, and actually there's.
So that's not going to be developed, is what you're saying?
Well, we're not sure.
Okay.
That's one of the questions that everybody's had is, what's the plan?
Yeah, why do we not know what's there?
Yeah, and
But
because,
the,
you know,
but the southwest corner is wetlands, and that will be the
yeah,
park area or.
right. And, you know, and we've had discussions, and we've talked about this, that, you know, we've encouraged them to develop housing for all generations.
That was
and-
my next question, too.
And, you know, what we have is pretty much single family, 60 single family units. Now, they are, based on the lot sizes, they could be smaller, larger homes, which might appeal, but we're looking to see, and that was behind the plan committee's immediate question, what are these open spaces for?
And so these other two areas are retention or detention ponds, correct?
Don't know.
Well, that's what they have to, it says storm, I mean, that's what you.
I don't know. Well,
Well-
that's one of the questions of what
I
what
would
does that
assume
mean?
they would be.
So, but again, and Leanna's question was, how does the water get to where it's supposed to go? Last time I looked, water is not real smart, but you would know more than I do. But
Well, that's all got to be part of the development.
yeah, so that's
So I
we've
assume
asked
that
for.
that's-
Yeah, we've asked for an explanation of what those things are. So, other things to jot down and add to the comments.
It was just, I know you had said elderly housing at one point. That was my question.
They were talking apartments at one point, condos or
We were
something.
we were talking multifamily, and that was more up in that northeast section was.
Yeah,
being
that would
looked
make
at
more
for
sense
the-
to buffer from the highway and the
Right,
roads, that you would put
exactly.
multifamily up there.
Yeah,
Or
and some of this other that is open could be used for senior housing, but we don't know if that's exactly what, and that's why we're asking, you know, tell us more.
Yeah.
Where are we meeting? So,
Okay.
any other questions or comments to be made? Otherwise, what you've asked has pretty much been covered by the planner and some of the others, so, okay. Good. Thank you. Item number 11, we are going to table because I'm waiting for a response from our attorneys, asking them to review everything, and they did not get an answer back to me today. So I will have to table that, and we will set that for a separate time in the future. Okay, discussion on Faith Evangelical Church. Just to recount kind of the history, the March 5th of last year that went to we had a severe storm that damaged the trees, property roof of that building and several others in town. And we've spent time meeting with the family. We had said to them that we thought that they should raise the building and that they should then clean up the property, trim out the trees, and they could take, after we inspected it, they could either do a sale as is, or they could then do the raising of it and have to do the work themselves. And pretty much the directive that was given to the family that on a sale as is, it had to meet the requirements of getting everything else cleaned up and raising the building. There's been a developer that was working and trying to get a deal with them, and that did not work out between that. And so we're at the point where we could take action if we chose to pursue a raise order if we wanted. Greg's, I have his letter I reviewed. I just called him recently and said, would what you said in this letter still be valid? And he said, I think so, but I haven't been back there. However, on last Friday, a week ago, May 5th, I was informed that the Lake Management District has made and has an accepted offer for the property. The board could still, if they wanted to, order the unit raised, and it becomes a problem of whoever is the owner of the property. I met with Jimmy and Leanne, and personally speaking, from my perspective, I don't think that the purchase by the Lake Management District is to the benefit of the town. If you look at, there's roughly 3 acres there. The original plan was to do 3 nice houses. That would have, and we've already been in the process of bringing this back onto the tax rolls. That would have been $3,000 in taxes. If all 3 acres got developed, it'd be close to $1,000 with nice houses that we would take in on taxes.
More than that.
Or I'm sorry, almost 9,000. Forgive my math. And so I just let everybody know. If you think that the town of Oakland is rich and has lots of money, you're kidding yourself. We borrow a heck of a lot of money every year and struggle to make the payments back so that we can perform the functions that we need to perform. It's police, fire, ambulance. We need to pave streets. We need to plow streets. We need to run elections. There's a ton of things we're doing, and we're not able to do a lot of stuff because we just don't have the funds. So, losing a parcel that had previously not been taxable, the land is valued at $277,000 by John. So that's just, I don't know.
What was the
what you
Lake
wanna do.
Management District's proposed use?
Yeah, so we shared our interest with Ted and
Jimmy,
that.
if you're going to speak for the Lake Management District, you need to step down from your board seat.
Okay, you can ask Leanna.
You can ask Leanna, yeah. It's just, you can't be on both sides of this, so.
The Lake Ripley Management District would like it to be our office space. We've outgrown this space. We no longer get to use the shed, which is reasonable. We know the town needs that space, so this would be a good use for us.
Okay.
So we're not in the business of real estate, though. I mean, we have no right to
We don't, but we could.
dictate
we
what they
could-
do with their
We
land.
could go ahead and raise the building if we felt that it was still needed to be raised. Because that inures to any owner, or we can, Lanny, what are you talking about? I mean, that's very general. You're talking a garage also, or?
Sounds like it.
No, what we would like to do is make that building into our office space. So a couple offices and a place like this to host our board meetings. So that's our ideal use of that property.
And I'm assuming you've talked with someone, an architect or something, that's assured you that you can do this?
We are in that discovery process, but from the conversations I've had with architects and building inspectors, yes, that is the impression that I get, that this building can be fixed and used as a proposed office space.
Okay. So the question for the board, you're right, I mean, we can't say to them they can't buy it, but we do have the option of saying, are we convinced, do we want to have that building destroyed, or do we want to let that go and see what the Lake Management District does. At that point, we're going to surrender and give up any revenue from it. So,
Well, if we had it raised, how would we
well,
still benefit from that? Because they could still buy the property
Right,
and
they could-
just build their
right.
own.
but if they
building.
choose not to, then we will put it on the tax rolls. So, it's your call. We said it was time to visit. I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. My name is Dan O'Callahan. I'm an attorney representing
Right.
Faith Lutheran Church. Happy to address the board and make a few comments, if that'd be appropriate.
I'm not sure that we're at that point, so if you'll hold off, let me just see, okay?
I'm here if there are any questions.
Okay, thanks, Dan. So the question is, do you want to consider this? We said we would revisit it at a future time.
I don't think, my opinion is, it's not it's their land to sell if they want to sell it. And it's Lake Ripley Management District's, and if they've already put an offer in, I mean, why do we care? I mean, I know what you're saying,
Right.
but
It's up to you.
it's a
we don't-
private property, and I don't think we have the right to dictate.
Well, we do in some respects, but it's not.
We do?
Yeah.
We can tell people what they have to do with
We-
their,
Yeah, we can order a property raised. So,
right, but
but
that
we-
doesn't prevent them from building a new
No,
building on,
they
so
can-
they'd
they
end
can
up
then
with
build
the
the
same
building. Right.
property anyway.
Yep.
And we've gone through the trouble and expense of having it raised.
Right.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Anybody else want to comment?
I'm wondering where we are in terms of the property's been listed and there are no other, there was a developer that was interested and that fell through.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Yeah. Dan, did any other developers contact you after that? Yeah, went forward then.
I don't know enough about it to make
Yeah.
a decision.
Good evening. Thanks for the opportunity. My name is Dan O'Callahan, attorney representing Faith Lutheran Church. First, I just want to say thank you to the town board for working with us. We realize it's been a year since the storm damage. We appreciate the patience the town has shown as we work through with the insurance adjuster and having the property cleaned up and the trees trimmed and working with that other local home builder who was interested in the property. That was the one offer that the church considered. Ultimately, that home builder was seeking more time than we were comfortable allowing, than the church leadership was comfortable allowing. They wanted a contingency period that would have taken us into late summer here and then possibly longer than that to try to get their approvals lined up before they could commit to buying the property. And we felt that was just too long to wait. In the interim, we became aware that the Lake Ripley Management District was interested in the property. That's the only other party that we've had serious discussions with. We had a good site visit with Ms. Spencer and Supervisor, and I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher your name. Digidio. A great site visit out there. They were very interested in the property. They made an offer that the church accepted, and the church is enthusiastic about moving forward with that. If that were to fall apart for any reason, the church would, of course, do what's necessary to continue securing the property and complying with any orders, or I don't think it would really come to that. The church would be prepared to take the next steps to make sure that property was cleaned up and taken care of. It's not currently listed for sale. It hasn't been listed for sale. The church hasn't made any decisions in that regard yet. So if this deal with the Lake Ripley Management District would not move forward, I think the church would have to kind of evaluate its options and decide whether it wanted to list the property for sale, whether it wanted to keep it, whether it wanted to donate the property to another church. All those are considerations the church just hasn't reached yet.
Do you know why they haven't complied with the town's requests up until this point in time in terms of
Raising the building?
yes, or repairing it?
The church hasn't committed the resources to rebuild or to raise. Those conversations have been ongoing, but the decision was made late last fall to sell the property. Entered into discussions with that home builder to sell it as is. They were willing and wanted to buy it as is. But again, that negotiation just became too protracted and wasn't headed in a direction that the church felt was going to be resolved soon enough. So things were on hold.
Why did they not list it for sale if they'd made a decision to sell it?
The church leadership had some conversations with that local home builder who was interested and wanted to honor their interest in the property, and felt that there was a fair offer made for the property. And so that offer was what they were going to go with.
Seemed like it took quite a while.
There was a lot of time involved with it, but there was continuation of discussion and stuff that went back and forth.
Well,
in terms of
the thing was the setback is a big problem, right? If that building was destroyed, they couldn't build another building that close to the highway according to the state setback rules.
The right-of-way was too big.
Right, and that was the difficult issue. To go through a variance was easily 90 to 120 days to see what it was going to take to get it.
And it was 90 to 120 days to find out if it was going to happen or not, and then if it was going to happen, it was going to be more time for the transaction to be closed, and we felt that was too open-ended. So those discussions ended. We started a conversation with the Lake Ripley Management District. I think that goes back to February or March, and now have an accepted offer, and it's contingent on the Lake Ripley Management District making the decision that they're confident that their plans could move forward. So we're waiting for that decision to be made.
Okay. Any other questions? Anybody want to move anything? If not, we'll proceed with the rest of our agenda. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Correspondence, you've got May 2nd Plan Committee meeting minutes in your folder. Approval of disbursements.
I'll make a motion that we approve disbursements, beginning with electronic funds transfer to the United States Treasury through and including electronics fund transfer 8412639 in the aggregate amount of $94,117.38.
Second.
Oh,
Give me seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Any announcements? Okay. Next meeting date is June 20th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Would entertain